Well, we're going to get into something that's near and dear to most teachers, and that is the parent-teacher conferences. And as a parent, I look forward to these also, and let me just give you some parameters of that. First of all, I have a first and third grader at this point. I will tell you a factor that always comes into play during our parent-teacher conferences that you need to be aware of right now, and that is time. Time is always a factor. It seems like every conference we've ever had, we run out of time. And so one of the things that I've got to discipline myself to as the parent, especially the grumpy parent, is not to get off on side conversations and visiting, which is often easy to do. So let me just introduce you to it here in the textbook. And this is on page 188. Here's the little thing starts out here, parent-teacher conferences. A parent-teacher conference is a collaborative effort to coordinate the best possible effort for the education of the child in the classroom. So if you understand that going into it as the teacher, this is what it's about. There's a great picture here, but it has something here too that's so fundamental to what you do in this process that I want to point it out to you. And under the caption on this picture says, keep records, paper, and anecdotal notes to share during parent-teacher conferences. And it seems redundant, but you start out the school year visualizing what types of things you're going to keep. We'll call them a term that, an educational term now, an artifact. What artifacts are you going to keep, or are you going to have at the conferences? So if you have that ahead of time, if you've looked ahead a little bit ahead of time, you can start to identify those. So let's just page through this. And what I'm going to do for the question, this first question is just ask you, what are you going to do to prepare for parent-teacher conferences? Okay, the next page takes you through these collaborative conversations, and it takes you through 5 stages of this preparation: developing a trust, inviting them, set up a natural goal, listen and review viewpoints and expand understandings, and restate the goal and measure it. Okay, so it gives you a little bit about invitations and schedules. It talks to you about a private, comfortable meeting place, and that has to do with how you're going to set up your room, set up your conference area. Two-way communication in conferences. Remember, we just had that last unit earlier in the chapter about two-way conversations, two-way communications. So you know what that is now. Two-way is where we're both free to go back and forth. This is excellent about how you do that with eye contact and forward posture. So you're going to want to read all that. This is interesting, too, about understandable language. What can you do for understandable language in this conference? And then here's a thing on preparing for the conference. Okay. And here's some questions. And you may want to include these right in your pamphlet that you're creating for this unit that's due next on your pamphlet for parent-teacher conferences. You may want to include some of this right in the things, questions that they should ask, questions parents might want to ask. Okay. Okay, so you're preparing for the conference. How are you going to prepare? Here's a checklist that you may use. Okay. So with that, that's what this question is. How are you going to prepare for your conference?